Okay, I hope it's visible. Okay, let's quickly revise what we have learned yesterday. So first we have seen two approaches. First we've seen what are the approaches of creating a table. So one was the top-down approach and second is the bottom-up approach. So among these, we have seen how to create a table by using top-down approach. And I hope every one of you have gone through the documentation that was shared to you because as I told you, each and everything was highlighted in your documentation. So here, if you see different types of approaches, top-down and bottom-up approach. So in top-down approach, we create the table first. After creating the table, we'll create the data elements by double clicking on the data element. Then we'll create the domain by double clicking on the domain. So this is called as top-down approach. Bottom-up approach is reverse of the top-down approach. In a bottom-up approach, first we will create the domain, then we'll create the data element, then we'll create the tables. So in between these two, you can use any of the method. Whenever you are trying to create any table in future, you can use any of the approaches. But most feasible and most easiest one is the top-down approach because this is much more easier. You don't need to remember the data element names or the domain names. Once they are created, you don't need to memorize those things and later on use it in the tables. So directly while creating the table itself, you can give your required data element name and directly create it from the table itself. That's what we did yesterday. I hope you have completed the registration. If not, please complete it quickly because you will be need to practice these things. Okay, so this is the transparent table that we have created. So how did we create it? First, we went to SE11, which is the data dictionary T code. Once we went into SE11, we use this first radio button database table. We give our custom table name that we want to create, and we will click on create. So once clicking on create, we'll have to fill the will be available in this delivery or maintenance tab. We have to fill the short description, we have to fill the delivery class, we have to fill the viewing properties. Should the data be available to display, should it be available to maintain, so this thing we have to give these details. After that, do we also seen what is a mandatory field? We seen so any field which is if it's having a any field if it's having this particular checkbox type of thing, then it's called as a mandatory field. So we cannot navigate to any other screen without filling this particular mandatory field. Then then we'll go to the sorry for my voice. Yeah, then we'll go to the fields. So in the fields, we'll give all the fields that we want to get in the table. So we gave four of these fields because we wanted to create or replicate the example that we have seen in our previous class. So this example we want to replicate. So that was the reason we gave similar fields for this as well. So here employee number, employee name, gender and male. Then for the first one, we've seen what is a key field and a non-key field. So to make any field a key field, we have to just simply check this checkbox. And here initial means if we want to pass a default value, if you want to pass the initial value to that particular data type variable, in that case only we will select this checkbox. If not, we will leave it unchecked. Then after giving your field name, we'll give the data element name that we want to create. After giving the data element name, if it's not available in the system, you'll need to double click on it. So once you double click on it, since I have changed it, it's asking me to save. Yeah, fine. So after doing that, again, same. You'll have to fill your short description. You'll have to fill your domain name. So after filling the domain name, again double click on your domain name because these are not yet created, right? So now these are created, but when you do it for the first time, this will not be available in the system. So you'll have to double click, create this, then short description to a short description, give the data type on how you want the data to be. Then we have seen the F4 help that is available for the data type. These are all the data types that are available. So from this we'll choose any of the one that suits our requirement. Then we'll select, we'll give the number of characters that is required. That is, we want 3, so we give 3 here. So once everything is done, you will need to activate your domain. You will need to activate your table. After activate domain and activate data element. After that, come over here. Then this was the first option of creating the field, wherein we have created both data element and domain here. In the second field, second example, we have seen we've created a data element, but instead of creating a domain here, we used a built-in type. So directly we gave char 20 here. We didn't create any domain here. This is the second example. And third example is we did not create a data element nor a domain. We have directly declared the data type here itself. We have directly written char 10. That means this particular field should be of character type with the length as 10. Char 10. Similarly, mail also char 20. This type should have character with length 20. And after doing all those things, we'll have to save it, then check it, then activate it. Or directly you can also activate it, but mostly the proper way to do it is first save your changes, then check your changes, then only activate it, right? So after activating it, if you are getting any kind of warnings, those can be ignored. So I don't want to display any log. Then we have seen what is the technical settings. So once we go into technical settings, initially the status will be inactive, not saved. So after that, we will be filling the required details like the data class, size, category, and log changes if we want to see table data. If you want to see that particular information, log change logs. In that case, we will check this checkbox. If not, we'll just leave it unchecked. So yeah, this is what we have seen in yesterday's class. So anyone had any doubts after document or okay? Yeah, so today I'll show you after creating the database table, we have to maintain our data, correct? So the data should be maintained in the database table once it is created. So today we'll see how to maintain the data in the database table. So for that, there is a concept called as TMG, also called as table maintenance generator. Also called as TMG. So this is used to make your table flexible in order to maintain the data. So without TMG, we cannot manually maintain the data in the table. So how to create the TMG? So once you have created your table and you are in the change mode of your table. So here you see I'm in the change mode. Here it says dictionary change table. From the menu bar, click on utilities, then table maintenance generator. You see here. So utilities, click on utilities. From utilities, you will have table maintenance generator. Just click on it. So after clicking on it, you will see this particular screen wherein it says generate table maintenance dialog, right? So this will create your TMG, table maintenance dialog. So first, authorization group. So authorization group is used to restrict the maintenance activities. That means, let's say, if this table is having sensitive information, in that case, only certain users should be able to access it. In that case, you will need to use any of these authorization groups that are there in the system. You don't need to worry which authorization group to use, because your functional team or the security team, anyone will give you that information on which one to use. But in general, when we create a table, we always choose this one without authorization group. Mostly we'll not give any authorization group for any custom tables. So we'll choose this and NC and, so, or also called as ampersand NC ampersand without authorization group. You can see the description, it says without authorization group. So double click this, it's selected here, then it's selecting for the function group. So copy your table name here. So I'm going to this. So copy your table name and paste the same in the function group area. Then maintenance step, you have two options. This is a one step, then the second is a two step. So first I'll show you what is a one step, then I'll show you what is a two step. So I'm choosing one step. Then overview screen, I'll only give one. So this is mandatory to give. You will need to give at least one overview screen. I'll give one. Then you see recording routine. So currently this there is only one enabled. The second one is disabled. So here the first one is called as standard recording routine, and second is the no user recording routine. So if you select the first one, the difference between first and second one is, if you select the first one, it will ask for a TR whenever we want to maintain any data. If you select the second one, it will not ask for a TR. I'll show you how to maintain this, but for now, just understand that the first one, if you select the first one, it will ask for a TR. If you select the second one, it will not ask for a TR. I click on create. See, even the TMG needs to be saved in a package itself. Since all our objects are in local objects, till now I'll select the local object icon only. So by default it took $TMP. So I click on save. See, it says the object does not exist. So I'll save it again. See, assign, it says assign a package. So I'm assigning it to $TMP local object. Now it says request completed successfully. My TMG is successfully created. See, now this is enabled. Earlier it was disabled. No? So initially it will be disabled. So after that, if you want to change it to standard recording routine, you can do it from here. So after saving it, you can go back. See, the table is already active. Now let's see how to maintain the data in my custom table. So for that, there is an icon here which is called as a contents. You see, this one is called as a contents icon. So we have to click on this icon. So here it will show all the fields that we have created: employee number, employee name, gender, and mail. So here we have multiple icons. So out of this, we'll only use execute and number of entries icon. So number of entries button will show us how many entries are there in the table. So currently it's empty. We didn't maintain any data, no? So it will show you 0. Number of entries that meet the selection criteria is 0. We don't have any entries at all. So now, so this is how you see. So you can see your data. Now, how to maintain the data? So there is a T code called as SM30. See, I don't want to replace this session. I want to create a new session. So that is the reason I'm using /o here, /o SM30. This is called as your table maintenance screen. So from here we can maintain our data in the tables. So here it says table or view. I have by default it's selected because I navigated from table screen to this, right? So that is the reason. By default it took my table name. So after coming here, I'll need to click on maintain. So it says the table is cross client. I'll tell you what is a cross client. So if you see here, uh, we don't have our column names. So we see one, two, three, four. Four columns are there. Well and good. But I don't have my table column names. Why is that? Because when I've created my data element, yesterday if you have seen, we've got one warning message that field label is not yet assigned. So this is a field label in the data element, which is there in your data element section. So since we have not assigned this particular field label, here you are not seeing any particular, any field name, any column name here. So in order to see the column name, we'll have to fill this field label here. So how to do that? You can do it at later point also. That is the reason I didn't do it yesterday. So now we can do it. I'll click on change. So here I'll write EMPNO. So if you see, we have four options here: short, medium, long, and heading. So that means this space that you see here is increasing with each and every field label. So depending on the screen, for example, I'm opening in a 12-inch screen, 12-inch laptop, then in that case I won't be able to see this much large heading, right? So in that case this will be seen. Let's say if I'm using a 32-inch monitor to see my data, in that case my long heading will be visible as per the screen size. So in order to compensate for that, we'll have to fill our field labels in that order only, in that length only. So first I only kept EMP NO here. So similarly, I'll keep the same medium also EMP NO. In the long, I'll write the whole thing. Employee number I'll write. Then in heading also, I'll write the same employee number. So you don't need to give the length explicitly. So once you have filled all your field labels manually here, just click on enter. See, by default it took the length. So once you have changed it, you see the status is also changed, active revised. So after making your changes, what should you do? First click on save, then click on check, then click on activate, enter. Warnings, you don't need to worry about the warnings. See, now your object is activated. Similarly, do the same for your other data elements also. So here I'll write EMP NAME, EMP NAME, employee name. Okay, then after that click on enter. So it says again the status is changed. So instead of doing the three things, I'll directly activate it. Like activate it. So it will activate will save, check, and activate your object. Now fine, for the first two, since we had data elements, we were able to create the field labels, but here we didn't create any data element at all, no? So that is the reason. So yesterday I told you, there is a limitation of using this particular approach to create your field. That is, you cannot give a relevant field label if you use this approach of not creating a data element and directly giving a data type instead of data element here. You will not be able to create the field label for it. That is the drawback. So now if you observe, since I've already changed it here, so here I can see my field labels here. The field label is there. Here also my field label is there. But still, if I'm going to my SM30, it still shows plus 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 here, right? Why is that? Because whenever we change anything in the table level, it will not be refreshed in the TMG. Okay, I'll repeat it. So whenever we do any sort of changes in our table, it will not be reflected directly in the TMG. We will have to delete the TMG and recreate it at any given point of time. If you are making any changes in the table, you have to delete your TMG and recreate it. How to delete your TMG? Open the TMG from utilities, tables maintenance generator, and click on delete. By default, all the checkboxes will be checked. So be it like that. Click on enter. See, now request completed successfully. This is deleted. You will still see the details here, but yeah, it is deleted. How can you know whether it's deleted or not? By looking at the message that comes at the bottom here. Request completed successfully. So earlier you've seen edit and delete icons, but now you only see create icon, right? So that's how you differentiate whether it's deleted or not deleted. So now again, I'm making it to one step, one screen, overview screen. Then I'll click on create again. Again, same thing. What we have done previously. Save local object. Then request completed successfully. Now you see edit and delete icons are there. That means this is created now. So I'll go back, activate the table too. No. Okay, what does it say? Dyn Pro was modified during the run. Why? So by the time I opened it, it was not yet refreshed. That was the reason you were getting that error, but now it's refreshed. So now you can see employee number, employee name. So here, depending on my screen says it automatically, it will take automatically. Here it took my short label, and here it took my large label. So it's default. You cannot tell system to pick this or pick that. It will pick on its own. But what about the remaining two ones? So here nothing. We won't be able to change these things. So for that reason, instead of using these things, let's create a data elements for these as well. We create z gender, or if it's available already, we'll use it. Yeah, it's already there, so I'm using it. So I'm using the existing data elements that is there in the system. This was created by someone else. Let's see if there are they have created the field labels also. Yeah, they have created the field labels also. And they have not created it correctly because of this is giving error. So let's not use it. Just quickly create it. I'll use a built-in type. Then I have created my data elements. I have given my field labels too. So now will it reflect directly here? No, still not reflecting. Why? Same reason. We have changed the table level data. The table level changes. We made table level changes. So if we are making any changes at the table level, what is the post requisite of doing it? We will have to delete our TMG and recreate it. So again, we'll have to go to utilities, TMG, delete it. Then one step, make it one step and create. Done. It's created now. Done. See, now we have all our 4 column names: EMP number, employee name, gender, mail. Everything is visible here. Now, how to maintain the data? If I want to create the data, push the data into this database table, how to do it? You see here, there is an icon called as new entries. So we have to click on this new entry. Here I can write my details. So what was it? 123. Then who was the employee of 123? Rohit, mail. I'll put Rohit, mail. Then this is my first entry. So like this, you can fill any number of the entries that you want to fill. So I'll uh, first try to fill only one entry, then I'll save it, then I'll show you the remaining ones. So here I've added my entry. So after adding the entry, I'll have to click on save icon on top here. So save. So it says data was saved. So now let's see if it's really saved or not. How to see that? You can go to SM30 only to see the data. You can click on maintain or display. Both will work. Display, see, the entry is added here. Or you can click on maintain also. See, you can see that entry here. And one more way to see the data is go back to your table, go to this contents icon that we have gone just now. So from the contents icon, we can click on number of entries. Now it should show us how many entries. It should show us one because I have updated one entry. So it says one now. Earlier it was 0. So you can execute it. The first icon here it says execute. So you need to click on execute icon. It will show you the data. 123 Rohit mail rohit@gmail.com. Whatever you have maintained there. So this is how you maintain the data. So first I maintained only one line. So now let's try to maintain multiple lines here. So now I'll try to maintain 234. It's 234. Make now. Then we've seen the relationship, na? Primary key relationship. We'll try to do the same. I'll show you the example on how system will show you the error in this case. So here I'll put 123 Krishna now. See, 123 was already existing, right? So now let's see if it will take 123 or not. Then if I try to save this data for now, let's see if it will take it or not. So in this example, both are my key fields, employee number and employee name. Both of these are my key fields. I'll try to save the data. See, it accepted my data. And the key fields are also denoted like this. See, these are blue, these are white. That means all the blue color highlighted fields are your key fields. So the same combination is available, will be seen throughout the system. So even if I open it from my SC11 contents, see here also it says blue and gray. So blue fields are my key fields. Non-blue fields are my non-key fields. Now I've maintained 3. Let's try to maintain the error entry that I told. So which is my error entry? The last one, 234 Meghna. So this is already existing in the system. Second entry is 234 Meghna. If I see, let's see what happens if I try to put the same 234 Meghna, Meghna, female. So if I try to save the data, let's see what happens now. See, it gave me an error now. An entry already exists with the same key. That means this key combination is already available in my system. So 234 Meghna is already there. Now you are trying to push 23 Meghna again. If I change my Meghna name to something else, for example, Vishal. If I want to assign 234 to Vishal in this case, so now let's see if it will take it or not. So just click on enter. See, it took. So this is how your primary key relationship work. So first it will check whether the first record is existing or not. If it is existing, then it will check whether the second primary key is there or not. If its second is also there, then in that case only it will give the error. If the second is it not there, then it will accept the entry. So this is fine. Non-key fields you can repeat, you can have the same, you can have duplicates, you can have unique. It's up to you. Like it can have any type of data, the non-key fields, because female repeating, Meghna repeating, but here I'm not getting any error. So this is how your key and non-key field concept works. So clear anyone, or anyone having any doubts on how to maintain the data in table? Okay. So after maintaining the data, if you observe one thing, see everything is in capital. So while filling the data, I'm not giving anything in capital now. So for example, 456 I'm giving Harsha. So I'm filling these things in capital, so small letters only. Means case first letter capital, then normal in the sentence way. Harsha@gmail.com. See, I filled it in normal how we write in general English, like right first capital, then followed by the small letters, capital followed by small letters. But while saving the data, it is automatically making it capital. Right, so this is not correct. So few users might say ki no, I don't want it like that. So I want the data to be exactly on how I'm entering the data. So let's say if I'm entering everything in small, it should be in small. If I'm entering everything in caps, everything should be caps. But system should not make everything in capital letters. This is one requirement that you get. So how to make it possible? So yesterday we have seen in this section I've shown you this case sensitive checkbox, right? So this checkbox is used to make it dynamic. So since this is employee number, we don't want to make it dynamic. So what now we'll do is for this we didn't create the domain. So see, in order to make your data case sensitive, you will have to have your domain. Without domain, you cannot make this as a case sensitive. That means you cannot make it dynamic. In order to make it a dynamic one, dynamic entries, you will have to have your domains. So since I've only created domain for this, and this is a number anyhow, this is a numeric type, this is unnecessary. So now what I'll do is I'll create a domain for my name. So here I'll give employee name, the same name that I gave to my domain. I'll give the same here too. Yes, create yes, and I'll give PMP. Data type is char, then number of sorry, not char 10, give as char. Then output number of characters is 10. I'll make it case sensitive. I click enter. I'll activate it. Done. I'll go back. I'll activate the data element also. Done. That is also. So now we'll have to activate this. What's happening? Weighted structure, trailer, convert table. Okay. See, sometimes you might get these kind of errors also in your table activation. Like I'm trying to activate my table, everything is correct. So my data element is correct, whatever I've created is correct, but my things are went into partly active or inactive state. So in these cases, we have an option called as adjustment, table adjustment. So we'll also see this concept also since we've just got the error. So how to adjust your table? So I wanted to show you this tomorrow, but anyhow, since we have got the error, I'll show you how to adjust your table. So we have a T code called as SE14. This is the T code. So we navigate to this T code whenever we change any after, let's say I made some changes in my table, after which I'm not able to activate my table. It is giving me this error. It's not allowing me to activate it. It's going into partly active state instead of active state. In these cases, we have to navigate to this SE14. SE14. This T code, this is called as a table adjustment T code. So here give your table name and click on edit. Okay, first I'll have to come out of the change mode here. Then I'll click on edit. So you see here it says activate and adjust the database. So we have to click on this button and we have to make sure whenever you're doing it, persist data should be selected. You should never select delete data. If you select delete data and activate it, all the data that is there in your table will be wiped out. It will be deleted permanently. You will not be able to roll back your data. So make sure always select the persist data or save data. In some systems you can see save data here instead of persist, you will see save. So select this, never delete, never select delete data. Then I'll click on activate and adjust. Yes. See, now the status changed to active. See, I didn't do any changes in the table, right? You only activated the table and adjusted the database. That's it. So if I go back to my table here, see now it's in active state. So now I can go back. Since my table is now active, it will not give me any error. So I can activate my data element. See, my data element got activated now without any errors. Earlier it was giving me an error. After giving the error also, we didn't do any changes manually. We have only adjusted the table at database level. So that is the use of SE14. If we are getting those kind of error messages like there is a change at the field label or the status is going to partly active, in these cases we will go to SE14 and from here we'll do the activate and adjust database. Don't select anything here. So it will be by default direct only. So let it be on direct processing type. Select the persist data or save data, then click on activate and adjust. That's how you activate or change your table. Then now let's see if I'll try to put 567 Vishwa mail. Sorry. So this is what I'm giving now, 567 Vishwa mail and this mail ID. So if I save it now, what happened here? Length is not matching. Oh, okay. Sorry, I went. See, we forgot the thumb rule just now. So after making any changes in the table, what should we do? We have to delete our TMG and recreate it. So since I didn't do that, it gave me the error. So first change utilities, TMG, delete, enter, and one step, create, enter. Done. Now I'll again go back to SM30, maintain. See how it took the data in small letters. Vishwa. So because we have checked the case sensitive checkbox for employee name, now it took normal. Like I entered, since I entered in first capital and then small, it took the way that I entered. So if I do 786 and again write everything in small now. Vishal, I'll write everything in small. And I'll write this mail everything in small. Then Vishwa, just random data. Don't worry that I have used Vishwa mail for Vishal. Don't worry about that. I just use a random one. Then see here, I will give everything as small. But how for which field did we check the case sensitive checkbox? Only for EMP name. Only for the employee name we created the domain and we checked the case sensitive checkbox. So when I save the data, see automatically these two are changed to capitals and this remains the same. Everything is in small since I give everything in small. So this is the purpose of your case sensitive checkbox. So whenever the data should be case sensitive in the table, in those cases it is mandatory for you to create the domain. So let's revise again. What is the use of data element? It will show you the field label. If I do not create any data element, then these field labels will not be seen. Instead of field labels, you will see plus icons here. So that is the purpose of your data element. Then what is the purpose of my domain? It is used to declare the data types and also it is used to make the field case sensitive. That is the use of your domain. So you can also create the tables without data element or domains also, but the one limitation you will have is you will have pluses here or it will not be case sensitive. Everything will be in capitals whenever you try to save any data in it. So these two are the limitations of not using data elements and domains. So now final concept in a TMG. So till now we were choosing one step here, correct? So now let's see what happens if I try to select two step. I'll come out of maintenance screen. Then I'll make it two step. I'll give it save. I'll give one single screen. Non-identity. What happened to this? See, so in here two steps. Two is my single screen. One has an overview screen. Then again, now I'll go back to my SM30. So when I try to maintain the data now, let's not exist. See, yeah, it was a temporary error. I only had to activate it by recreating the TMG. So after doing that, see if I'm clicking on my new entries button again here, see it is giving me this screen. Earlier, what did it do? It gave us the tabular format, na? Like this it gave. When we try to maintain the data, it gave us this format. But when I try to maintain it now, it's giving me like this. Yes, so this is the difference between using single screen and uh, overview screen. So in general, it's better to use normal one only instead of making single screen because it's easier to maintain the data in that case. See, now it's two step. So instead of two step, if you make it one step, that is a lot more easier because there you can maintain multiple entries at a time. But here you don't have that provision. You will have to enter one after the other. If you want to enter this 980, Shyam. So I am not filling this. Since these are non-key fields, I'm not filling this. And if I save it, so the data was saved, it says. So let's see if the data is really saved or not. How? From table, we'll go to contents. Click on execute. Yeah, it's saved. So it is a key field, so it is in blue. So now this is how this works. So, but this is the limitation. I cannot give multiple ones at a time. So earlier we gave all these things at once. I maintained all these entries at once. But now it's not allowing me. That is the reason, that is the limitation of using two step process. So always use one step process. Better to use one step process. And one more thing is, so your key fields are like your what do I say, mandatory fields. For example, if I don't give anything here, if I am only giving my employee number, if I don't give any employee name and I try to save it, see, the data was saved. But since what was the one that we have used for this one? We have used a initial keyword. Initial keyword will give a space here. So if I refresh the data here, see, although this got added here, nothing is there because this for this initial value checkbox was checked. It gave a initial value as space. Similarly, if I do, hmm, if I do this, I'm not giving anything on the employee number. I'll click on save directly. See, it took 0. Why? Because the initial value of numeric data type is 0. That is the reason it took 0 here. It took triple 0 because the length of the data type is 3. So here you see, I checked the initial value checkbox and the data type is numeric, length is 3. That is the reason it took the default initial value as 0, and since the length is 3, it took as three zeros. But for this, since it is a character, and I told you for character the initial value is space, it took a space here. It took a space here. This is how you maintain the data in database. This is the concept of TMG. So any doubts in TMG, table maintenance generator? Okay. See, after maintaining the data, to see the data in order, let's say if I want to see only one particular employee number data, in that case, from this screen also, like this is the initial screen of content screen. So from here also you can give 1 to 3. I want to see the data of my employee number 1 to 3. So then execute it. You will only get one. Sorry, two, because I've given two employee numbers with the same employee, two employees with the same employee number. I'll give two, Krishna and Rohit's ID. Let's say I want to see only Krishna. I want to search with name. Then in that case also you can search it. If I give Krishna here, click on execute, and it should be in caps. It gave me Krishna. Similarly, you can put filters on any of the remaining fields also here. So you can also see the number of entries now. So how many Krishnas are there? Only one. So that is the reason it's only giving me one. If I remove the complete search criteria, then it will show me the complete data in the table. I have 10 entries in the record in the table, so it is showing me 10. So this is the concept of table maintenance generator. Yeah, so I hope this was clear. So let's quickly revise on how did we create it. So first, in order to go to TMG, we'll go to utilities. We'll click on TMG table maintenance generator. After going there, we'll have to fill all these details. We'll have to fill the authorization group, which is in particular most of the scenarios it will be, and NC, and then give the function group name same as your table here. Then assign it into a local package, or since now it's just I use local, but normally we'll use a package, custom package. Then maintenance step, normally it's better to use one step instead of two steps. Better to use one step because it will give you a flexibility to use to maintain multiple entries at a time. That is the reason you should use one step. Then overview screen, if you're using one step, overview screen should be one, and single screen should not be there anything, it should be empty. If you're using two step, single screen number should be more than your overview screen number, give it as 1 2. Then recording routine, standard recording routine is used to see when I try to maintain the data, it didn't ask me for any TR. So now let's see if I make it standard recording routine, what happens. Then we'll have to again delete and recreate. So ideally it will ask for a TR, let's not do all that. So yeah, if you are using a standard recording routine, it should ask for a TR. Normally it will ask for a TR. Then we have seen what is the purpose of data element and what is the purpose of the domain. So we can create our tables even without the data elements or domains also by directly declaring the data types here, like char 10, numeric C, num-C 3, num-C 10, like that also you can create. But the limitation is when you try to maintain the data in the database, you will not see the field labels for these things here. So instead of this column names here, you will see plus symbols. So it's not very user friendly. User will not know na ki, what is plus, in which column should I maintain the data and no. So that is the reason it's not user friendly. We'll have to create our data elements and domain. So data element will give you a field label, appropriate field label that you specify here, and with the domain you will have the flexibility to make it as a case sensitive. So if you make it case sensitive, the data will be stored in the database the way that you enter it. Whenever you're maintaining the data, however you enter it, in that order only it will be saved in your database. That is the purpose of your domain. So yeah, and to maintain the data, we'll have to go to the T code SM30. SM30 is the T code for system maintenance. So normally we ABAPers will not maintain the data. So our job is only to create the data, create the table, create the TMG, and then leave it. So normally your functional people will use the SM30 T code. So as I told you, na, in the first class, so third class, when we discuss about transaction codes, all the T codes that are gonna start with SE are related to ABAP. See, all the T codes that are related to SE are related to ABAP. SM T codes are related to your functional guys. So this, the T code to maintain the data is SM30. You can see the T code here also. If you click on this small arrow here, bottom right, you can see the transaction that you are currently in. Transaction is SM30. So this T code is a functional T code. Normally your functional guys will go and try to maintain the data in this table here like this. And one more concept we've seen is table adjustment. So whenever you make any changes in the database level, sorry, table level, then sometimes it shows you a temporary error that table changed at the field level. You'll get that error, and the status of the table goes to partially active. So in these cases, you will have to go to T code SC14, and from SC14 you will have to uh, adjust your table. This is the purpose of SC18, SC14. So also we have to make sure that we select the direct and persist data. You never select delete data. It will delete the data from your database table. So this is the concepts. So I request you all to once you go through, try to create it, because see, I've got many errors while trying to create the table also. But since I know these are temporary errors, I was able to come out of it. So similarly, when you practice it, you will also be getting the errors. So you'll only learn from your mistakes that you make, the errors that you make. So it's good that if you're getting the errors, that then you'll know what corrective action or what preventive action should be taken in order to rectify that error. If you're not getting any errors, then you're not learning anything, to be honest. So it's good to get the errors. So please practice it. Go through the document. So everything that we have discussed today is all available in the documents that have been shared to you. So you just need to go through the document. So everything is there here. Data element, mandatory fields. What is a search help? And in between, you'll also see these type of highlighted texts. So these are sort of summarized pointers, or these could be also your interview questions also. So these are the questions. These are highlighted ones. So just read these things. Either it will teach you on how to actually implement these things in the real time, or else it will also highlight. Also, it will act as a interview questions whenever you try to give the interview. These will be helpful for you. So yeah, that's it for today, guys. So request you to please once go through the document and practice it.